Ooh, Crusaders versus Rebels, guys. Whew, what a match in the end, eh? Now, my prediction before this game, I thought that the Crusaders would probably win this by 15 points on their home turf. But there was a lot of variables, and it was always going to be a very close game. I predicted anyway. So, a couple of noted features in that first half. Firstly, the number of scrums that the Crusaders just seemed to absolutely dominate. A number of them, they just virtually ran over the top of the Waratahs forward packs. Really quite bizarre, wasn't that? Like, especially for Super Rugby Pacific, with those New Zealand, Australian, Pacific teams generally don't focus on the set piece as much as other nations. Look, the first half was a pretty messy affair. There was a pretty good try by Christian Leo Willie, but the Crusaders, their attack, again, a lot of passing that was going aground. They just look a bit off, don't they? And they're certainly not the Crusaders of old at the moment. The Rebels, I was a little bit disappointed by the attack. I thought they'd fire some shots and really take to the Crusaders. And if they had fired some shots big time, they really, really would have taken to the Crusaders for sure. But their attack, their advantage line, just their big boys carrying it to the advantage line, they just didn't seem to get over the advantage line. And then because they couldn't get that, they'd sort of try and spin the ball wide with the Crusaders' defense coming up on them. And then they do these offloads or passes that would go to ground. Yeah, look, their attack just didn't really fire the shots that I thought it would, guys. Look, half-time, 10-0 to the Crusaders. At that point, I still thought this game was in the balance. I thought the Rebels could come out, they could fire some shots, score 3-4 tries second half. Completely different ball game. Obviously, in the second half, the Crusaders just sort of up the tempo a little bit. Yeah. Final result, 39-0 to the Crusaders. Yeah, the result and the score does reflect the game, I think. A comprehensive victory to the Crusaders and back to the drawing board for the Rebels. Yeah, but look, both teams. Firstly, the Crusaders, they were much improved tonight. Their attack was more free-flowing. I still think they're well off the Crusaders of old. And their attack was, wasn't clinical like the old Crusaders. And I think if they come up against good defensive sides like the Hurricanes, these good defensive sides will put them under pressure and they'll struggle to attack against them. And I guess the Rebels were largely in a similar boat, but probably much, much worse. Oh, God, their attack. I honestly thought they'd fire some shots big time, but again, as I've said in that first half, they just didn't really get much better. They didn't really get to that advantage line that well. Their passing was poor. And just their gameplay on attack was just ultimately mean they just didn't really fire the shots I thought they would. Players to watch, though, from the match. Look, Scott Barrett, he's back in action now. Look, he's powerful. I thought he probably had a quieter night, but he does the basics well, doesn't he? Look, his line-out work, his set piece, his work at the breakdown was quite impressive. Yeah, but ultimately I've got noted here, like, the Crusaders line-out was so much improved on prior weeks, wasn't it? Just tenfold. And Scott Barrett, look, you could just see the influence he had on that line-out. Levi Moore for the Crusaders, look, he had a solid night, didn't he? He's big, he's powerful, he runs good lines. To me, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on some of these players. To me, I just feel like the Crusaders are not using him to his capability. Like the size of him, the speed he can run at, the power he has. I just feel like he should be gaining an extra 2 or 3 meters over there, or further with every carry that he does. But Yeah, so whether or not that'll happen more later in the season when the Crusaders can gel a bit better on their attack, I don't know. But to me, he's just not quite at his potential yet. Guys, the next one that I've seen, which really sticks out to me, and I've been really impressed by him this season, is Carter Gordon. Look, it's no secret he had a tough World Cup last year with the Wallabies, and obviously being a young sort of kid, I thought that might have dented his confidence a bit. Yeah, but look, what I've seen from him this season has been really, really impressive. Particularly his composure. He just seems he gets the ball and he's just calm and he just flicks it on real smoothly or the other way, or he makes decisions with composure. Look, he kicks well. He's not a big guy, but he leads well with his shoulder. He's good on defense. Guys, he really catches my eyes. And I'm going to go far as to say I think he could be one of the best fly halves in the world in the coming years. To me, he's got the ability and the class of a Stephen Larkham or a Dan Carter for the All Blacks or a Johnny Wilkinson. Like, I see that much potential in him. For me, he's also the number one fly half for the Wallabies this year. I'm really impressed by him. Yeah, so anyway, so full time, Crusaders 39-0. Yeah, it was a comprehensive victory, wasn't it, in the end for that match? But ultimately, look, the next 5 games for Crusaders, aren't they going to be interesting, guys? Whew. The Blues, the Brumbies, the Landers, Moana Pacifica, and the Reds. Now, for me, I reckon I can see them winning at least 3 of those games. Moana Pacifica, the Reds, and the Landers. And then the other 2, the Brumbies and the Blues, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if one of those 2, the Crusaders, won. Which still means they're well in contention for a semi-final, quarter-final spot, right? And the Crusaders, we all know what they're like in quarterfinals, semi-finals. They are dangerous. They are a dangerous, dangerous animal at that stage. Guys, again, looking at the Rebels, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. They've got some tough games ahead. Again, their defense was well off tonight. Their attack is probably the big one for me. They've got to get that set piece working. They've got to get moving over the advantage line, and they've got to get their ball handling better and get some phases together, run some good lines, apply some pressure on attack, and then score some points, accumulate some points that way. But look, guys, they've got to go back to the drawing board because that wasn't a good night for them. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and add your comments on the match. There's plenty more videos to come with the Super Rugby season ahead, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Cheers.